To everybody, your name?
Spencer Wolf.
Spencer, how did you hear about Vallejo?
So I was at a Health Expo back at the fall of 2016,
Okay.
and at the convention center,
Mm-hmm.
and I just saw you at the really nice presentation flyer there, and I saw Dr. Aaron speak about how he was a detective, and he would go in and get to the root cause of why you're feeling whatever you're feeling. A whole body detective, he said.
Oh, cool.
I remember that. That was really memorable for me.
Oh, great. So then tell us why you started coming to Vallejo.
Well, I was, so prior to the 2016, I was in perfect health. I was always in great shape, going to the gym all the time, and I had no problems. But then back in July of 2016, I was on vacation down in Florida with the family, and I was on some rides at an amusement park, and different things were happening, and eventually, I'm not really sure exactly what happened, but I think I either was a whiplash, concussion of sorts, or whatever it might have been, but I also had my retina detached in my eye, and I had some real serious problems. We had to come back from the vacation, and on the drive back, I got terribly ill in the car on the way back, and had to call the ambulance on the side of the road. It was just really awful, and I had to get the surgery the next day to reattach the retina. The problem was I was so sick when I got to the hospital that they couldn't do the surgery, but eventually the next day they had to, or I would have lost sight in the eye, and then I was expected to get better within days, feeling better, but I just got progressively worse. I thought maybe it was a reaction to the anesthesia. I didn't know what was the problem. And over the coming weeks and months, I just kept getting worse and worse, and I was terribly dizzy and nauseous. I couldn't think anymore. I couldn't think 5 minutes ahead. I was basically just falling apart. I would wake up in the middle of the night every hour, ready to, feeling like I was going to vomit. I had tremors, like a seizure type of things, and it was just getting awful. I would sit in the room for 3 days, just lying in bed. I couldn't get out of bed. I was taking Dramamine just to not be dizzy. I would wear the cataract glasses, the darkness, and ear muffs just to keep all the sounds and sights. And it was just really awful. I had no idea what was going on. So I started to see different doctors, and some would say that it was stomach related. So one doctor, he said, well, you should just take some stomach medicines. I went to another doctor, they said, well, it's all in your head. It's migraines. And so I went to a neurologist, and the neurologist took an MRI and put dye in my veins in my neck and my arteries, and determined everything was just totally normal. There's nothing wrong there. I went to an audiologist and a nasal, ear, nose, and throat, and they looked, there was no tumors, there was nothing wrong, everything was fine. But I just kept getting sick, and there was nothing that was getting better. I was on disability from work, running out for about 6 months of full disability, and it was just really nasty. I went to chiropractors who thought like concussion specialists. I went to all sorts of stuff, and nobody knew what to do. They just wanted to start putting me on medications to treat the symptoms of what I was having for my stomach or my head or whatever. And I said, look, there's something broken. I didn't just get this way. I don't want like a lifetime of medication. So then I remembered in around January or February of 2017, I remembered that the presentation that I saw from Dr. Aaron about how he's the detective that gets to the bottom of what the problem is. And so I went, I finally picked up the phone, I called up and made an appointment. I came in, and sure enough, he was amazed by the story, of what it was, and he listened to me, the full story, not just like some of the doctors, they come in for 5 minutes, ask you your symptoms, and then want to prescribe you something, but he listened like for an hour, getting to the bottom of it. I filled out this huge questionnaire of all different parts of the body and different symptoms of everything. We took a blood test and actually did a DNA test, and he did some functional tests as well. And after all that, he came to the conclusion that he thought that what it might be is like an imbalance of different things in my enzymes and different ways of digestion, and so he prescribed what I should start with was this complete elimination diet. And I did that. I was super strict on it. Ate basically, sweet potatoes and whatever, and I actually started feeling better. And so what we did, I had regular appointments with him, and what we determined after he looked at the DNA results was that I had this really strong sensitivity to gluten, and not only gluten, but I also had some other types of enzyme or different things that we needed to address. And so he prescribed these different nutrients and minerals and digestive enzymes and powders and things that I could try with the foods. And meanwhile, I'm still on this diet. And we added slowly back one food item at another. And there was some rice problems in the beginning, some other types of things, but eventually I got over that, and it just all came down to this gluten. That was the big problem. So I think we eventually discovered that what happened was whatever it was that happened to me in Florida, in combination with the surgery on my eyes or all that type of stuff, that's huge stress, whatever it might have triggered my genetic makeup to start to expressing this sensitivity to gluten. And so I've never looked back. I've been totally off gluten since then, about a year, and it's just steadily from then on I got completely better. And so that eventually I started going back to the gym. I just started feeling great, and now I go like 5-6 times a week to the gym and competing again, and it's an amazing story, and that's why I'm here to say thank you.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now, if there was a person that has never been to Vallejo before, is there any words of encouragement to get them in here, or what would you say to that new person?
Yeah, I would say, keep an open mind. It's Vallejo. It's not a chiropractor. It's not an herbal medicine place. It's not a doctor's office. It's all of these things where Dr. Aaron will actually try to figure out what the problem is. He won't just project what his specialty is. Like on, if you come in, you say, well, I've got stomach aches. Well, he won't just say, well, let me prescribe something for your stomach. He'll look where that might be coming from. So if you have any hesitations, I would say just come with an open mind, answer all the questions, and let him do his work.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Spencer.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Great.